Hello and welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 826. It's being recorded on June 11, 2025. And welcome back, by the way, if you've been here before. If you're new, then welcome. I'm Sebastian Peak.
Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm Brett Van Sprurenberg, and welcome to the first hour of our 24-hour show.
No. We did that once. Actually, I think it was only 12 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm Kent Burgess, and I'm not here for 24 hours.
It is time for the Patreon segment. Brett, do we have any updates on that front?
You know, we do, and I like to dip into the archives, as we say around here, and pull a couple of randoms out. One, just because I just liked his name, and that name is A Penguin Kicks Down the Door. I mean, that's probably the best. I just like it. Like it very much. And the other name I randomly picked out was A. Edwards, because I think if he's listening, they know they're awesome. They know. And they know why. I'll leave it at that.
When A. Edwards talks, people listen.
That's right.
Josh, do you want to talk about food?
Do you know the very definition of disappointment? When you order tots and you get potato chips.
What?
That's what happened today. I ordered the Barn Show tots, and the gal who was working the register and took my order, she was new, only a couple of weeks. And instead of putting in the Barn Show tots, she put in the regular Barn Show nachos, which are all on a bed of potato chips.
Oh, no.
So, I took that picture and I'm like, all right, I'm going to dig in. And I dug in and it went crunch. And I'm like, what the hell's this? This is not tots.
Yeah, tots don't crunch.
No. I mean, they crunch a little bit, but not like potato pits.
No.
Potato chips. And so, I made it through, a chunk of it, but I just couldn't do anymore because it's just too salty. I mean, on top of that, you've got bacon, you've got pulled pork, fresh cut jalapenos, cheddar cheese, a spicy barbecue sauce, 2 different types of onions. White onions that are sauteed and the raw red onions that, it's fantastic. I mean, when they're on top of tots, they're not nearly as good on top of Barn Shows. So the barn potato chips they make them fresh there. So, they're cut above regular potato chips.
Well, there's a time and a place for them. And that's...
Yeah. It was not the time.
You don't approach this combo with a fork. I don't understand. I'm not...
Yeah, well,
no, it's a feed bag.
Yeah.
You just strap it on and
just
start
tie
chewing.
it on.
Yeah. So I've got the rest in the fridge. I'm trying to pawn it off on the kids. It still tasted good, but it wasn't tots, man.
Let's move to the PC Perspective news desk. And our first story, in no particular order, a press release has come across our desk from ASUS, who's teamed up with Microsoft to introduce a product with a new AMD SoC. So there's a new Xbox, official Xbox handheld is, of course, the new ROG Xbox Ally and Ally X. These look a little bit different than the current Ally. They have defined handles, which is nice. And I'm assuming a completely streamlined interface. One of the problems with these is, of course, good or bad, they're Windows computers running AMD APUs. And that means tiny touch points and awkward navigation between control panel and settings app and trying to enter Wi-Fi credentials. So it would be nice if it was a more big screen ready interface throughout. But the big story is the new Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme. And non-extreme. The extreme is in the Ally X. There are specifications here. So these are still Windows 11 machines. 24 gigabytes of LPDDR5X 8000.
Wow.
On the Ally X. Wi-Fi 6E. It's still 1080p. Have 7-inch 1080p display. 120 hertz refresh rate, FreeSync Premium.
Look at that power delivery 3.0.
Mm-hmm.
Thunderbolt 4 compatible.
80 watt hour battery.
65 watt charger. Wow.
715 grams. Does not seem especially light. This is what I think my son would call a chungus, a big chungus. The non-X is the regular Xbox Ally. Also Windows 11 Home. Same display. Only 16 gigabytes of LPDDR5X, and it's only 6,400 mega transfers per second instead of 8,000. Less storage is standard. Lighter, though, 670 grams. 60 watt hour battery. I don't know. I feel like the Ally X is the way to go. But what's the cost difference? I don't know if we have all that info.
It has more X's in it, so it's obviously the way to go.
Yeah.
I feel like this is interestingly positioned against all this SteamOS traction that we're seeing lately on handhelds. And I think the timing sort of speaks to Microsoft looking at where SteamOS was going some number of months or even years ago when they were doing this development work. And I think that's kind of where they saw, like, we need to get something out in the handheld space. SteamOS is going to walk away from us on this. I think that's why this exists.
That, and apparently there's a very big market for handheld gaming consoles right now.
Mm-hmm. How would you know that?
I don't. I'm just guessing.
Oh, just guessing?
I don't own any of them.
I mean, the amount of different models out there, but I have no idea how they're selling.
Because people want new hardware and they can't buy a desktop.
So the number one selling console in the world is, of course, the ARM-powered, NVIDIA-powered Nintendo Switch. And the Switch 2, if you thought the momentum from the Switch 1 was starting to fade, and everybody who wanted a Switch has one, and they won't really see the benefit of the Switch 2. This is no Wii to Wii U transition here. This is 3.5 million units sold in the first 4 days, according to Nintendo's press release here.
Think about how much production in 90 days you have to do per day to get 3.5 million units.
Let's just do the math. Somebody get a calculator. How many Switches were they producing per day to get to 3.5 million?
3.5 million divided by 90. Do it.
More than
Do it.
Do it. Boy. All right. 3.5 million units divided by 90 days is 38,889
a day.
So I'm guessing they spent more.
Man,
than
those
90
kids'
days
fingers
producing
must be
this.
tired by now.
Probably 180 days. That's very successful for Nintendo.
But still, 19,000 even at 180 days. That's a lot of production. How many factories did they contract out to produce that amount of
All of them.
stuff?
I don't know.
Pretty much.
Bring me all of them.
Moving right along from videocards.com, NVIDIA N1X. It's a 20-core CPU. Performance leak reveals high-end ambitions. So there's an HP system out there. Apparently somebody found some numbers from Geekbench, of course. So take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah. On Arch.
Running Ubuntu
no, it was Ubuntu, sorry.
24.04.1 LTS.
Well, you know how much I love Geekbench, which is why I never use it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because look at those Apple results.
M4 Max 3880 single thread. They always get the highest single thread score. Ryzen 7 9800X 3D 3345. So that's only 86% of that. Mm-hmm. And then you go down to the N1X running Linux. It's not that far. It's within 5% of the Intel Core Ultra 9 285K, which is
and it matches the 9800X 3D, which is of course, a 8-core 16 thread.
Oh, it matches it in multi. Yeah, you're right. It's almost exactly the same in multi-thread.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah. So apparently this is a 10-core X925, which is the higher end of the I can't remember the code name that they had for, these top end chips, but they're, the full fat power is not a big deal. And then the other ones, the other 10 are the lower power, the 700 series of cores. So you get, 20 cores of they're not, I don't believe they're multi-threaded. So you have, but still 20 threads. That's still a lot. And, the architecture is okay. It's good. It's going to be fairly efficient. Yeah, it looks like it loses out a little bit to the Ryzen AI Max Plus, but that's like a 12-core, 24-thread chip.
Well, it's topping the Snapdragon X Elite from Qualcomm in both.
To me, that's far more interesting because that was supposed to be the big competitor.
Look at that Apple M4 Max.
Well, right, but look at the Snapdragon X Elite.
Yeah, that's a better
getting blown away by the NVIDIA N1X.
Yep. Yeah. So, ARM is doing a lot of stuff to make their chips very competitive and much more complex, faster. Their cores boost up to 4.1 gigahertz. I mean, that's still a far cry. Them AMD and Intel doing 5.3 in their boost stuff, but it's a solid architecture that they have designed, and software support's getting better and better and better. So yeah, it's a time for, it looks like, NVIDIA to get back into providing from CPUs. What's the last one that they actually provided were for some cell phones, their Tegra stuff and their Shield and some of those internal products, but nobody else external has really been buying them until they got to Grace Hopper and that entire high end of AI and server level stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see them, lower their range back down to where consumers can actually.
What about the 3.5 million Switch 2s we just talked about?
Okay, you're right.
NVIDIA sells a lot of SoCs.
They do sell a lot of those, but that's that. Can you name a different customer of the Tegra SoCs?
No.
Okay.
Sticking with videocards.com, this is potentially exciting, and not for the few elite people who will mod an RTX 5090 to give it 48 gigs of memory. 3 gigabyte GDDR7 modules from Samsung are now shipping. You can buy them. There are places apparently that will sell you just one of them. But the implication here to me is when you have the 128-bit memory bus and you're only attaching 4 chips to it and you are stuck with 8 gigabytes of memory, now you can have 12 without doing anything except switching out the package, right?
And that's easily user.
Well, there are some who will try, no doubt. I'm just thinking,
yes, I'm sure DeBauer will try it.
I think the addressing lines will have to be there for the increased density chips, but in theory,
we'll figure it out.
Yes.
That's unfortunately true. I just want to see 8 gigabyte cards go away, because now it won't be, it's either we have to offer 8 or 16. Now it'll be, well, just everything can start at 12 now. 12 will be the budget card, and then it'll go up from there.
No, you're missing out on the perfect marketing. This card goes to 11.
They already did that.
We just stick on the extra 3, and there you go.
Instead of one of the 2s?
It's totally 11 gigabytes.
No.
1 2 and 1 3.
We already had an 11 gigabyte card.
Yes, we had multiple 11 gigabyte cards.
Yeah.
I know, but we haven't had one in a while.
What was it, the
1080 Ti?
Yeah, that was
I think 2080 Ti
and then
was
one of the Pascal
also, wasn't it?
Yeah.
had the same.
You're right. I totally forgot about that.
Then it went to
I
11.
could never afford the Ti. I had to go with the plain one.
The plain one had legs, but the Ti is obviously legendary. People rocking the Ti to this very day. I bet somebody watching or listening to this right now still has a GTX 1080 Ti
Guaranteed.
in their system right now.
I have one, but it's off.
Okay,
It's just over there.
I've
got a Star Wars edition at work.
Ooh,
True.
Very nice.
is it dark
Mine
side
is-
or light side?
No, it's the Titan. It's the Titan XP PCP, and it's
Yeah.
the dark side.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So
it's the
Mine's
red.
back from the EVGA heyday period.
Oh boy,
It's like so sweet.
remember EVGA?
Remember
Yep.
EVGA?
Remember Jacob?
yeah. Hey, you know what? The longer I'm away from EVGA, the less the rose tint on my glasses starts fading away. They had some problems.
I'm still using their PSUs though.
Well, that's
The
nice.
thing is,
The
They
two
have
keyboards
not
that I bought.
make
Not so good.
anything. They were a marketing company, so
Yes.
there was a manufacturer overseas who was making graphics cards for them. It's not like they didn't. They obviously had design input. I feel like they had more of their own fingerprints on that new audio product than anything. Their CEO is a huge audiophile, and I got to meet him and the designer who worked at some high-end audio company called Audio Note. I think it was called Audio Note, and they sell very expensive stuff. And this thing was just packed with all the
Features.
audiophile stuff, and they were very excited about it. Meanwhile, they're
They had
just
an internal card as well as an external card. If I remember, a
Yeah.
couple internal cards and an external DAC.
well, I asked them if they were going to do external with the new audio because it was really a USB with a bridge chip, but they never did. But that got discontinued. Now people want a lot of money for them in the used market because they're very good. Moving along, Apple. By the way, if you haven't followed Mac and iOS news, Apple has decided that they're basically a car company now, and they're going to start naming iOS versions and macOS versions after the model year. So this is 2025. So the 2026 Tahoe, not a GMC, or no, Chevy makes
Oh,
the
it's not a
Tahoe.
Tiguan?
Otherwise, it's the Yukon. Sorry. Anyway, it's the
I want to see the K
26.
car with Corinthian leather. The
Well, the
iPad
thing
K
is that-
car with Corinthian leather backplate.
The problem is that Apple's products never last as long as a K car. So
You
They'll
want the
probably
newest
never
and
do it.
shiniest Apple product at all times, Jeremy.
Jeremy,
No,
they tend to
I
last,
really don't.
last a little bit longer than other.
But if you're a true
And-
Apple enthusiast, you buy the new phone every year because it's
all I
the
know is when the
amazingly-
iPhone,
Amazingly, Apple products have more power than a K car.
and according to Geekbench, they have more power than any other processor on Earth.
Well,
Well,
of course.
I think the point of the story, though, wasn't to talk about how we went from iOS, is it 16 to 26?
26.
this explains
Exactly.
why my iPhone 7 test device won't take the update, doesn't it?
No, yeah, you're screwed.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
But there's
I
no
mean,
more
Apple's
Intel
been-
support after this, just so you know.
Apple's
If you're
been
on it-
known to like drop things, in the past. They've been pretty ruthless about it. 32-bit at the time, stuff that they thought was like only a few years old. They've really, really, are dropping some fairly late model stuff from as early
like
as or as late as
2019. They haven't been making
20,
they haven't been making
That's the
Intel Macs
stupid
since
thing.
2019.
2023. But there's actually an Intel Mac that they were selling in 2023, which is
It wasn't
only
new
going to-
hardware though. They were selling
I
old
believe it-
hardware
Are you
for
sure
4
it
years.
wasn't? Okay, perhaps, but it was
They stopped.
new.
Listen, they
off the
stopped making
shelf.
MacBook Pros with Intel in like 2019. The last Intel Mac Mini was 2019. It was a
Yes.
8700
Which
F.
you could
or
buy them
something.
in 2023 still.
You could buy them, yes, but they were the 2019 hardware. Is my point. They hadn't updated the Mac Pro in years, and then they dropped it when they got the Mac Studio and the Studio Max and stuff. So, and not that you couldn't still order one and pay unbelievable amounts of money
Way
for
too
it,
much.
but-
Way too much money for that at that point in time. But yeah, this is going to be the final version for many of those, and many of the ones that are before that were unceremoniously dropped. Just going to be after 2026, be a couple of years of patches, and then that'll be it. But this is the end of the road for the Hackintosh. I'm a little sad about that.
Real quick, because I'm an operating system nerd. Gentlestone said, "Isn't liquid glass? That's their new design.
I was going to say that something too.
Just Vista's semi-transparency." But remember, Vista was Microsoft's answer to Aqua, and Aqua was, especially with Leopard, was definitely just an homage, if not a direct copy, of Project Looking Glass. Does anybody remember Project Looking Glass? I think it was from
that was
Oracle.
a ways back.
Wasn't there Cairo that was in there too? I don't remember what that was. What was the name of it? There was another Mac OS one. Sorry, go ahead.
Project Looking Glass.
He's trying to remember because
Sun. It was Sun, not Oracle. Sun Microsystems. They were the first ones to do like the glass, like 3D. Everything was translucent, and it had the same dock as what we ended up getting with Leopard, macOS 10.5.
That was a lot of that was lifted from Mach as well.
Oh, okay. But yeah, there's nothing new under the sun. Like, get it?
I remember looking at something like that. Yeah. Many, many, many years ago. But what bugs me, not particularly because, I mean, I don't use Apples unless forced to, they dropped the XR and the XS. The iPhones. Those run on the A12. Everything newer than that still runs on the A12 too. Like, apart from, hey, you go out and buy a new phone.
You were just dropped due to config.
Right?
No hardware. Yeah, it's not the first time they've done that either.
Oh, no, it's not. But I like to point it out every time they do. When it's like, oh, no, we're getting rid of like the older iPads. Yeah, fine. That's an ancient chip you shouldn't have released the damn thing on in the first place. But dropping phones using modern architecture, that's
They didn't have very much memory, and those phones I'm sure Apple would like to forget anyway, because those were these weird non-OLED models that were sold alongside the high-end models with OLEDs, and I think the screen resolution was lower too.
Or the PPI was.
Yes, it was.
Well, the PPI
but
was
the price
lower
was
because
a
the
lot
screen
lower
resolution
too.
was lower, but yes.
Correct. Yes.
The PPI was lower.
Yes.
It's 6.1 inches, but the PPI is lower because the screen resolution's lower. All right.
Correct in both counts.
Lower the pixels, crank up the size. Yeah, that'll have an effect.
Many people loved it. From Tom's Hardware, EVGA. People talking about them. Motherboard owners furious over modern GPU issues. DIY users resort to taping over pins to fix RTX 50 series problem on Z690 boards. Yes, Z690 is pretty recent. This reminds me a lot. Here's some Captain tape over, the 5th and 6th pin from the left. There's some power delivery issues, apparently. It's like when you shuck hard drives from WD Easy Store and have to cover certain pins to have them work in your NAS.
So they'll spin up. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is I think it was some sort of SM bus or SM BIOS communication pin set. I don't necessarily think it was power per se, but these boards were like getting stuck in boot because of this potential connection. And there's no real development left at EVGA to kind of fix these. Like you were saying earlier, it's kind of like a marketing shell.
Is there anybody at EVGA at all?
One guy.
Really doesn't seem like enough that there's enough people left to get into this and issue a patch. It's sad. It is sad. It is a communications line that they're masking, by the way. But
Okay. So it wasn't power.
Yeah.
That's absolutely incorrect. Look, they have a mouse.
Oh, okay.
Is that a new mouse or is this an old?
Those are all old products.
Okay, yeah. I assume they haven't updated the site in a while. So Z790 was their last chipset. Oh, wait. Product pages are down for maintenance. Thank you for your patience.
How long has that red banner been there?
Right. I just feel like it's just a dead company at this point.
It feels bad. Yeah.
I miss OCZ.
I found some OCZ RAM in my garage looking for something else.
Nice.
Oh, it's very shiny though, still.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's coincidental that that NVIDIA cards are having trouble with EVGA motherboards?
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
I know
Revenge of the Sith.
Yes, it feels
I miss
like it.
8-bit. So do we. We all do.
Yeah, we all do.
You know what? When dealing with 8-bit back in the day, it was hard not to like them after you sent back their products 4 or 5 times. You got to know them on a personal level. It was good.
There's a CRD video cathode ray dude on YouTube. He did an episode on the 8-bit BP6. And it's from the point of view of somebody who doesn't know as much. He's admittedly not like the biggest PC DIY hardware guy. But it was fascinating to go through and look at the history of this and see it from the point of view of a younger person looking back at that era. Because that was the one that let you run 2 Celerons, something that Intel didn't want you to do. You had to buy a Pentium 3 system to do dual CPU, but not with the BP6. And it was like a $200 motherboard that let you have a workstation in your house.
To be fair, it was very expensive back in the day, but still
But $200, it's not that expensive for a motherboard. 2000-ish, whatever that came out. Dual Celeron. I don't remember what the fastest one you could put in it, like 600 maybe? But of course you could just overclock them.
That was the stock speed, the recommended speed, which we all ran our Celerons at.
Of course.
It's like,
Yeah, I've got a
thing can break a
Celeron 600
gigahertz.
up there.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't think it works
Only
anymore.
driven at a gigahertz by an old lady on Sundays, right?
Yeah, no, I think this one was used and abused, and it was sent back to me for replacement. And yeah, back when I sold hardware, way back in the 90s.
Yeah, I was looking up because I thought I remembered that EVGA has closed their wonderful user forums, and they have.
Yeah, yep, they did.
so in February. Yeah.
When Falcon Northwest switched away from EVGA power supplies, I felt like that was the end. Because
He's in the chat.
Things that,
You could ask him.
just do not recommend. That was Penstar 6, right?
Through the 90s. This is before Newegg came out, and I would do some good numbers a month, but support was a pain in the ass, and then the distributors would send you stuff that was out of spec, like, hey, I ordered this memory that is supposed to be cast 2. I send it out to the customers, and they come back and they're like, what is this cast 3 shit that you're sending me? And then next thing you know, the Better Business Bureau starts getting involved, and it just like pull the handles, get out of it, and I did. It's
so that's
awful.
where the hair went.
Oh, it was.
Did you have a full head of hair when you started? Oh, you didn't. Okay.
So, kind of an interesting little thing that came across my desk is that PNY is releasing a new USB drive. Now, who the hell cares about a USB drive? Well, it's 3.2 Gen 2 Type A and Type C. It starts at like $34, and it's got downloads up to 1 gigabyte per second read and 800 megabyte per second write. And the thing that's interesting is this: they're getting so cheap and they're getting so dense. So not very long ago, like what was the one that we got from not Solidyne, but SK Hynix, the little Beetle. 1 terabyte one of those wasn't quite this fast, but it was 3 times as much. So it's kind of neat to see that this stuff is getting so much less expensive. PNY seems to be okay in quality. I mean, they're NVIDIA's primary partner for all of the high-end Quadro and machine learning and A6000. You get one of those boards, and it's all PNY packaged. But I just thought that this was an interesting little thing that, again, dirt cheap, super fast, can do A and C. I mean, what's not to like? And plus, it's that whole fidget spinny one. You can just keep flipping around. That's
How much?
The best part.
How much is it?
Starts at $36. $34. Yeah. I think that's for 1 tera. No, it's going to be, I think, at 256. And I'll climb from there.
Very aggressive for 1 terabyte.
Yeah. I don't think it's 1 terabyte, but I think $34 for the speed for 256 is probably. I mean, that's the MSRP. It'll come in lower. So still, that's That's some serious speed on the go.
Welcome to Insecurity Corner, your weekly reason to drink.
And our
There's
first story,
a lot of it.
shocking news. Unsecured internet-connected cameras can be accessed by anyone. I find this difficult to believe, Jeremy.
Yeah, sadly, so do a lot of people that use internet-attached cameras and don't bother to secure them at all whatsoever. So literally all you got to do is sort of shop around the web and see if you can find, a couple of them with the URI. And once you got it, you can just then access the feed. There's no login. There's no security because this is the Internet of Things. There's a website I linked to called InsecCam, which has been around for decades and is literally just does this, but they are nice. They filter the ones that, are in someone's home or might, lead to someone knowing the exact routes that security takes in a mall so that they were able to rob the place. So they strip those things out. The problem is that a couple of security researchers decided to take a poke around and identified 40,000 unsecured cameras, 14 grand
At
of which
least.
are in the US. But
At
this is what they
40,000.
found 40,000. There are several orders of magnitude more than that. Not like 2 or 3 times as many. No, there are probably well over 500,000, but probably more like 4 million that are just absolutely and completely open. You can take a look at them without, and it's not even like a hack. You just need to sort of, how do I find the URI of a camera? And then you can just poke around the web and even type in random IP addresses occasionally. Yeah, it's ridiculous, and it's never going to be fixed because half of these cameras are probably already unsupported, so they're never going to get any updates. But the thing is, you get your fancy new system to support your jewelry store, and you don't put a password or any sort of security on those cameras, and then you wonder why people know exactly when you've stepped out for a break for 5 minutes.
Or where you're hiding the case key or something like that.
Yeah.
Or,
And it gets even worse because, if you were of the inclination and found geographically located cameras in a small area, you could stalk people and know exactly what they did. It's horrific.
Mm-hmm.
And
when they leave work, when they come into the office,
yes,
what
literally,
their daily routines are like.
Yeah.
So here's that InsecCam that you had referenced earlier, which is a directory of these available live cameras that are available,
but filtered,
feeds.
so it's not awful.
Yeah. Is it? Who knows what's going to take place in front of these cameras? We don't know.
Well, that's
Could
the
be
other
anything.
thing.
Yeah.
Although you can do a takedown very quickly just by reaching out to them. But
hey, look at the bird box in Tokyo, Japan. See if they're laying eggs. Know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's someone with a pet in the lower right there.
Pet cam. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
it's probably your interconnected dog bowl is probably spewing.
How is your baby monitor?
Mm-hmm.
Like, seriously, this is a major concern that a lot of people just sort of, well, it's whatever. It's like, no, this is one of the more horrific parts of the Internet of Things.
Regular people just plug stuff in and hope for the best, including their entire network.
Yeah.
Regular people are just happy when it works. Like, finally,
unfortunately
the app
true
is talking to my camera. Hooray! And
right. So, don't touch it.
That's when your friendly neighborhood voyeur actually logged into the system and fixed it for you, and that's why it works right now.
The outside of the box made such lofty promises of convenience and versatility. I'm so happy that it worked.
Let's look at this live cam from Menden, Germany.
Okay.
Of some sort of birds.
All right, that's a live cam in Germany.
Birds.
Are those
storks?
Those are very tall birds. Those are long-legged birds.
Cranes, storks.
Mm-hmm. Is this
It's
like
gone.
a town. Oh, this is a nest. You can see houses in the bottom left, off in the
Oh, I
distance.
see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, this is
Notice
definitely a
the
nest.
birds hang out.
yeah. They just
In
hang
nests.
out on top of this pole or whatever it is.
So, do you think those birds are aware of the security lapse that they're taking part in right now?
We're violating
Oh,
their
they're
rights.
dirty birds. They're well
That's
aware.
right.
They're exhibitionist birds.
They've got their own
That's the word, anyways.
OnlyFans.
Kent, you are muted.
It's not OnlyFans, it's Only Feathers.
As usual, Kent is muted.
That's the word.
Jeremy beat you to that by like 30 seconds.
Yeah. No, he didn't. I was just muted.
Oh, okay.
You would have
Allegedly.
won, but you were muted.
Mir
Yes.
says, those birds are naked. Think of the children.
They're making children right now. One single GitHub user was responsible for over 100 backdoored malware repos, says
Nice, huh?
Jeremy via the register.
Isn't that nice?
Now, I might have been
GitHub
exaggerating
just
for a fact. Oh, go on, Josh.
They just celebrated the 1 billionth repo. And the guy named it
gods,
something,
really?
something shit.
Nice.
Yep, that's
So
GitHub, all
the
right.
GitHub people's like, congratulations on your on being the 1 billionth repo. I hope you're very productive and happy with your ... shit.
Someone had planned this for quite a while, I'm
Purposeful?
assuming.
Purposeful or accidental?
Yes.
Okay.
That.
Jeremy's going with purposeful.
Yes, I absolutely am. But I may have exaggerated a little bit because it's not necessarily that it's one user, but it's one account. So the account could have been shared between a bunch of complete and utter wastes of oxygen. But we're talking about 141 repos. 133 of those were offering stuff that was backdoored in one way or another. And of course, he's going after the easy targets. Game cheat software, cryptocurrency tools, and amusingly, don't trust the GitHub site that says, here's the latest and greatest malware you can use to attack your friends. Because guess what? It's backdoored too.
So wait a minute. If I download malware attacking software from the net, it will attack me?
Yes.
I'm the bad guy?
Kind of, it's got a little bit of a taste to it in the mouth, but it's not quite.
you and your inevitable deception and
Schadenfreude?
Yes, there is a bit of Schadenfreude in there. And unfortunately, it is all secure wrapped. And we've talked about that before. It's one of the remote access tools that has been spreading across everywhere for a long time. Even nastier is that the reason that these guys were not caught was all of these repos constantly got updates. And they took the proper steps to commit to the repos, made them look brilliantly well maintained. That email address is, of course, gaining reputation because it's got a whole bunch of repos and they're all very well maintained and very well commented. And guess what? They are almost completely, I think there were about a dozen that didn't spread malware. Those are the ones they actually probably used. The rest of them, it was putting Secure Rat on there. They caught them. They shut down ISCHFD83. So that account no longer exists. Those sites are gone. The repos are gone. And hopefully they don't become ghost repos and suddenly get brought back up by someone else.
Jeremy, this just seems like another case of stop infecting yourself.
Yeah, well, the problem was that the downloaders were infecting themselves, but the rest,
Yes,
the person
exactly.
or people behind this.
Yes, I would like to do malware to my friend or to other people. Ha ha ha! I'm so leet. No.
Yeah,
You're now owned.
and funny as it is, they were then using that the rat to do nastier stuff to other people.
Yeah,
but at the same time, you're downloading a game cheats. You kind of deserve to get burned. Sorry,
you know what?
no sympathy.
My sympathy is lowered.
Yeah.
Next, via Bleeping Computer, hackers exploited Windows WebDAV 0-day to drop malware.
Oh, this is kind of a bad one. So there's this diagnostic exe in Internet Explorer that is essentially programmed to reach out to other configuration, other files. They were being allowed to pass a configuration to this executable that reached out to a remote repo that would pull it in and run it with essentially admin privileges on the local machine. And this is a 0-day remote executable networking exploitable process. It's pretty bad. You needed to patch this as of yesterday for the people running these services anyway that are internet accessible.
No, just patch, because Patch Tuesday was mega sized.
Yeah, that's an associated story with this.
No, well, I mean, it's part of the way of defending yourself against it.
Yes. So Tuesday, yesterday, if you're watching this today live, you should have patched yesterday. So you should go back to yesterday so that you're ready for tomorrow, which is today, and you would have patched then for now. So go do that. That was my point on this one. 66 flaws patched and under Patch Tuesday, and several are under current active exploitation.
I did several machines. They averaged at 8 minutes for that reboot, which was wonderful, but well worth doing.
Do Windows 10 machines, do they need apply to this, or is just no patch for them?
The thing is that there are still Windows 10 machines out there. There shouldn't be. But there are still Windows XP machines running your banking system, so...
Look, let's not talk about that.
It's just sort of a thing.
Reality bites. No need to dive too deeply into that.
Yeah.
This
and I don't think we brought it up, but there was
11.
actually a second, or a completely separate release for, I think it was Win 11 24H2.
Yes, there was.
Yeah.
24H2 for machines that didn't patch properly during the last patch group. They spooled up a special version for those that failed the previous patch.
And so anyone who did upgrade to Windows 11 using a funky little trick, that should actually work for you.
Correct.
Because
if you skirted around some of the limitations that are imposed by Windows 11,
I'm a server.
You're now patchable.
If you know,
or some group will be patchable.
If you know someone named Rufus who helped you install Windows 11.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That would definitely be a good other disk to make. But so, yeah, I mean, the 0-day, which was, hey, I hate to say it, but kudos on Microsoft to jump on it right away without even doing an out of band, because otherwise it would have been an out of band, which no one likes. So it worked out well. And yeah, I haven't heard of a single system that got bricked by this last Patch Tuesday. Good on you.
This story from the Register is interesting because I thought for some reason you could brick an iPhone, but it says
you can.
Okay. So the story headline is blocking stolen phones from the cloud can be done, should be done, won't be done because they need Apple and Google to help, but the dream team doesn't want to, says this opinion piece on the Register. But if you have an iPhone, I thought you could just brick it remotely.
Sort of.
I think you can lock it down, but I don't think that ends its lifespan potentially.
Exactly. The thing is that what they're talking about is an IMEI is a unique identifier associated with the hardware on that phone. If a phone is reported as stolen, you should be able to blacklist that IMEI across carriers. Because as much as they're blaming Google and Apple, and hey, don't think I'm not, because they're definitely a part of it, it is also the fact that the carriers don't want to be bothered.
They don't want to share
because they would all have to communicate with each other and share.
Yeah, they don't want to share this responsibility.
So yeah, you get a phone stolen on your provider. You may be able to phone them up and say, "Hey, my phone was stolen. I was actually bright enough to record the IMEI, and so I know exactly what it is, and I would like you to blacklist it." And they'll be like, "Yeah, sorry, that doesn't match the number on our records, so we're not going to do that." Well, assuming they do actually say, "Yeah, okay, that carrier will do it." They jailbreak that phone and they hook up to carrier B. Not a problem.
Operating on the
They can just
same frequencies. So that's the cool bit here is they can continue to use that phone on carriers that operate across the same spectrum. And there's
and
the
often
rub.
on the same infrastructure.
Here's the interesting sort of aspect to this, and they compared it to Microsoft in a particular way. Now, and the Microsoft sort of tie into this is that Microsoft doesn't necessarily mind so much about the stolen or cracked Windows keys that are sold onto parts of the planet that generally couldn't afford to buy the OS anyway, simply because it gives them another seat and another place to sell into, another way to market into, and maybe they're going to get some sales and stuff off of that. Would you believe that the big two in the mobile application and the mobile phone space think the same damn thing? Oh, mind blown. So that means that every Apple phone that's potentially stolen that doesn't get shut down, every Google device, of which there are bazillions of them that probably change hands illicitly every day, are ending up in markets that couldn't have afforded to buy them in the first place. So they kind of look the other way, and they don't mind this sort of leeching thing that's going on. That stolen from first world countries ends up in third world country. They kind of like, well, we weren't shipping them there anyway. Nobody could buy them. So that just ends up to be, another paying customer using our devices that we didn't sell to, but we're happy to take their money when they buy apps.
They've bought into our infrastructure as opposed to the alternative. And you don't switch back from Android to Apple on a frequent occasion. There's
pipelines for both of these devices, and they're flowing from one places on the planet to other places on the planet after they're stolen. And then, as you were saying, put on another network, new imaged, broken, whatever. And then the app space they're monetized again. And they don't mind that so much.
And Apple and Google or whichever company made that phone already made their money. So they literally
it's just gravy. Don't care. It's gravy on top of it. They don't care. Especially, they're connected to they connect up to their app store and they're buying apps and taking their percentage. That's all I care about.
And yes, the app store could read the IMEI and would know that it was a stolen phone, but this was their point at the very beginning. It's easily fixable, but the companies refuse to do it.
If there was a shared list, they could even knock them off of Wi-Fi. They could even go like, we're seeing that, because they could pull that IMEI in a variety of ways, and they could knock them off of other networks.
But nope. And hey, you're buying our apps, so that's even better.
Yeah, exactly. And you're in our store, and you're in our ecosystem, and that's what they care about, because they weren't selling them in first party ways anyway into those spaces, and it's a way for their hardware to get into those environments.
Yeah, Huawei is selling brilliant hardware at very, very cheap because they know once you get in, you're buying their app. The apps that come through them, and they're getting it
kind of like
cut off of everything.
It's the razor blade situation again.
It is.
Yeah. If only you could get Google Play Store on a modern Huawei phone in America. But
that's why they love it, because now you're trapped in their ecosystem.
Yeah. Next, if you killed your iNet pub folder, you can fix it with one simple Microsoft PowerShell script.
Script.
Don't get your hackles up by fixing your ACLs manually.
They're called ACLs.
Read. Can you please take over?
Yes. So ACLs, Access Control List. If you decided to become incredibly offended at the fact that all of a sudden an empty folder in your C drive called iNetPub appeared, and you looked it up, and it's like, it's to address a vulnerability with IIS, which you don't have installed. So screw it, I'm going to delete it. Well, you can't. It's owned by system. So then you have to change it so that you give yourself ownership of it, and then you can delete it. And about the same time you probably managed to do that, Microsoft said, if you do that, it's going to screw up a bunch of futures Windows updates, because part of this thing is that we're trying to fix an issue with symbolic links on devices even without IIS, because you could take that iNetPub folder and change it so that instead of when you double clicked on it, it opened that, it actually opened up something completely different, like an executable on your machine. They wanted it there. even without IIS, that was supposed to be there. And honestly, it was an empty folder. It's not like they dumped a U2 song without permission on your system.
No one would do that.
No, never. So you could try and restore it, but then you've got to go through the ACLs, and it's not just as easy as giving ownership back to system. It's a little bit more interesting than that. So what Microsoft did was put out a little PowerShell script that you can grab, not from GitHub. If you see it on GitHub, that's probably that guy we were talking about earlier back. Don't download it. So it's a specific site where you can grab it, and they even give you the actual script that it runs, so you can just copy and paste that into PowerShell if you would like. That will fix it. And first off, you get your folder back, so you won't have some issues with Windows updates going forward. Well, those issues with Windows Update going forward.
Yeah, there's no guarantee in the content of the Windows Update, but they will take place again.
And you will be blocked from that particular symbolic link attack that was kind of being used, even without IIS installed in your systems.
Problem solved.
Yeah.
Another great day in the office. Kudos all around, everyone.
And the future of warfare is obviously going to be, well, related to internet security or lack thereof. Chinese spy crew appears to be preparing for conflict by backdooring 75 plus critical organizations.
Yeah, would you believe that a security company noticed themselves trying to get hacked? So they fingerprinted the attack profile and then said, I wonder if anybody else got hacked this way. And lo and behold, there's a bunch of places out there that were either successfully hacked or at least the markers were left behind that they were an attempt to be hacked. So this is I think they're calling it ShadowPad, this thing. And it is essentially they've looked at it and said, this is a pre-positioned backdoor essentially into these infrastructure places. And it's not just in one place. It's in Europe. It's in the US. It's all around the world. And they've traced it back to App41, which is a suspected Chinese group. So it just looks like a Chinese cyber spy campaign to try and take out infrastructure pieces. We're talking transportation. We're talking utilities. We're talking banking, financial systems. All these have been successfully hacked, these types of entities. And this package is lying in wait to just be activated. And they're sort of injecting their own concept as to what this is for, believing that these are pre-positioned hacks. Should a conflict ensue, they can sort of just light these up and begin to take down these bits of critical infrastructure just to sow chaos and what have you.
It was very nice of you to say suspected Chinese hacking group.
You know, I try and couch things in a way that nobody's going to come back and beat us with a stick.
Because this is a nasty one. It's I didn't have much time to look into it, but it was like a conglomeration of different hacks going back years. Right?
But it's a backdoor.
Try this vulnerability. Try this one. Try this one. Try this one. Try this one. And
it's a variety pack. It's a variety pack.
Yeah, it's a Baskin Robbins hack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're throwing a lot of things at the wall, essentially, and that's why they were able to fingerprint this, because it's like, oh, you've seen attempts at this, and this, these, 40 different things in this amount of time. That's probably the same attack profiles we saw in ourselves, et cetera, and we noticed that this one went through. Okay, you're susceptible to this one. Oh, here's a lying in wait backdoor package. You probably want to address that.
Let us move to gaming quick hits. Now that we're through all of our depressing insecurity stories, there's an idea: the GOG one-click mod initiative.
Finally.
So this is just the very beginning, because you may recall I mentioned Fallout London, once or twice over the course of its release. And GOG was the best way to do it. But there were two really big hurdles they had to do. One was Bethesda being, guess what? We're going to remaster Fallout 4 and drop it 2 days before you do yours. And guess what? It's not going to be compatible at all. So you had to walk people through reverting to a previous version on Steam or GOG, which was fairly easy. But then the process for installing Fallout London required you to follow instructions correctly. And there was more than just one step. And a lot of people had issues with this. And to be honest, the steps were not as well described as they could have been. But, you know, some people made it through, but a lot of people didn't, and a lot of people complained. And Bethesda, being the dicks that they are, is now interfering with Sky Oblivion, because we're all currently playing the redo of Oblivion, and it is gorgeous, but it's not done in the Skyrim engine, and this is going to be released soon, and GOG is going to be the main host for it. So what they've done is try to figure out a way to get one-click mods for games that GOG has either you bought them from GOG or GOG has absorbed them via Galaxy on your machine. The idea is that popular mods, something this large, or with the Heroes of Might and Magic 3, there is a certain horn mod that you need to be able to play it properly. Vampire Bloodlines, the unofficial patch, actually lets you finish the game, because without that patch you can't finish it. So the major mods, they're going to say, hey, if you've got the game, click this button, it's going to download, it's going to take care of itself, and everything should work. Hasn't been released yet. It's coming very soon. But the first 4 that they're testing it with seem to be a really good set of choices. These are very well-established mods that people have been installed millions of times. And, you know, it's been on all the hardware. The thing is that those 78 Skyrim mods that you've stacked one on top of each other in a weird Jenga pile that likes to fall over every once in a while, no, that's not going to happen. GOG is not going to put up with that. You're going to have to go to ModDB or whichever your favorite site is for stacking your mods together, and then assigning them priorities, and then figuring out which one is compatible with the other one, and which, you know. But the idea here is just someone casual gamer wants to try out one of these huge mods, and boop, away you go. I think it's a brilliant idea. I hope they do keep the scope limited, because if it starts to open up a little bit, they are going to start running into problems, and they're going to spend more time supporting that than they are going to be able to develop new ones. But for major mods, for total converts of a game, I think it's a brilliant idea. And GOG, I mean, I continue to salute you. You do wonderful work. Some of the stuff you've had to abandon, but overall, you do wonderful work.
Putting the G in G. Thanks, God.
Yeah.
This next story, by the way, it's more of a computer hardware and software story than a gaming quick hit, but
it kind of is, yes.
Gamers might like to experiment with overclocking and MSI Afterburner. They've been around forever, and you can also do fan profiles and all kinds of other stuff. But since MSI became the EVGA heir apparent and is the NVIDIA only GPU house now, they don't have official support for the Radeon 9000 series in Afterburner. So the developer of Afterburner has apparently, I grabbed a 9070 XT from PowerColor and is working on it on their own.
It's out. I believe it's the vendor's support or it's in the build now for Afterburner support. Now, I read this. I'm not really entirely sure. The article implies that support for the RX 9000 series, although there was some specific wording that it was potentially only supporting the 9070. Not entirely sure about that yet, since that was the one that the developer had.
It might not have 9060 support yet. Yeah.
Don't know. But it's worth a try now. I mean, if you'd sort of dismissed this as, your alternative because a lot of people have used this for a long time, and with AMD becoming more and more of the potentially available and reasonable cost alternative, people might be looking for their typical tools that they were using for doing OC. So with MSI Afterburner now potentially supporting your Radeons, it's a good thing.
Speaking of which, ASRock has a 9070 available for $599 on Newegg. That's only $50 over MSRP.
Is that your pick of the week, Josh?
No, it is not.
Oh, okay.
It is not. No.
But that
no,
is.
But I just I saw that
price.
it's still in stock, and that's a great price for a 16 gig pretty fast card.
Let's just do picks of the week right now, Josh.
Really?
Please.
Are you sure?
Let's do it. Yeah, right now.
Are you sure? Because we have a review.
Oh,
I thought we had a review.
Oh, we do have a
We
review.
don't have to.
Okay, we have a review.
We don't have to. I did post it.
Review.
So anyway,
Jeremy, please talk about it.
Well, I don't think you want me to.
I don't want to do anything.
That's fair.
We move to our featured review segment, and is this going to be like a e-ink thing? Hold on.
You'd think so, but no.
Ease-
it is a
how is this
reflective
pronounced?
LCD.
Oh, okay.
Eazeye.
Eazeye.
Yeah, this is literally a display that likes to play in the sun. Far more so than... the hell did you do to the site? Where'd it go?
So it's RLCD, so reflective.
It's reflective.
LCD.
There is literally no backlight in this whatsoever.
Oh, so it's only
It is
for
okay.
outdoor.
It is incredibly hard to
So this
take
is
pictures of.
is the Game Boy Color screen, but
Yes.
for modern PCs.
Yes, it is, except the next generation of it.
Well, the clarity looks pretty good. The text is rendering nicely here.
Oh, it's very good because this is the second one. I did actually do a review of his crowdsourced one, which was okay. It was an interesting idea, but had no usage case that I can think of. This thing, ridiculously slim, but quite sturdy. And I can pull it out for you if you like.
no, not on air.
That looks slim. What is that? 4 or 5 millimeters thick?
If it's 4 at its thickest.
Oh, okay. Look at that
One
stand.
of the things. So two of the things they did was integral stand.
Look at that pollen.
Mm-hmm.
Folds absolutely flush in. Oh yeah, there's a lot of pollen out here.
Oh, there's thickness. There's thickness at the bottom.
Well, you got to fit in a full HDMI port in there.
Oh yeah, which I appreciate that they're not just making you use a dongle.
No, you need, but then you need to feed it power. I think it'll absorb up to about 7 watts peak power, and what that's doing is this is a material that you might have heard of, but essentially you feed electricity to it, and it becomes slightly more reflective. You feed a little less electricity to it, and it's a little less. So it's called electrochromatic. So there's half in and half out of the sun.
I'm going to interject here.
Yes, please do.
A friend of mine's ex-wife worked in Silicon Valley, and one of the things they're working on was a reflective display technology based on the wings of butterflies. You know how dramatic and interesting the wings of butterflies are?
This is a true story.
It sounds like this may be connected to that stuff. It's interesting. Go ahead.
So kind of, but and Louis Hang, the guy who's done this, he did the first Indiegogo and then has since created this one, hasn't really told me what the magic is, but the fact that you can feed it tiny bits of voltage and have it become a little more reflective suggests it's not. So if you want to play the two, and trying to capture HDR is ridiculous. But as you can see, this is directly in the sun, and it's more visual and in person, but it's not a huge amount of HDR.
Is there this blue cast to it to the naked eye, or just in these photos?
More so in the photos, but yes, there is a little bit of one, but I kept it on sRGB. There is a full ability to change the RGB on it so that you can actually get a much better picture.
You could dial it out.
Yeah. But if you scroll down a little bit, that other video, this one, which should be a video. It was a video when I posted it. Yeah.
There's two videos.
It's largely
there you go. Take a look at
some out of focus.
No, but when you get into the sun,
you can see one and not the other.
Yeah. There was a part where I caught it better than that. I think the loop's weird.
I don't know. It's only 14 seconds here.
It is. Oh, it's cropped it.
Oh, I see what's happening. That. Okay.
There you go. So there's literally nothing you can see on that laptop until my shadowing goes into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a big advantage.
That is what it is. It's for outdoor use or for in blaring bright lights. I was kind of like, okay, so it's great if you camp but hate camping, so you don't want to watch the wilderness and just want to, stare at the screen, or you're on the beach. One of the things with this one is it takes power and video from a USB-C from anything. If you're a professional photographer and you're either squinting at a little tiny screen or a little bit of a bigger screen, or literally have the entire hood set up with a monitor underneath it so that you can sort of see what you're doing, this would be brilliant for it. The brighter it gets, the easier it is to see what you're doing.
I'm thinking of like kiosks and like food trucks, stuff like that. People who want to display like bits of information that may be outside. Yeah. This might be used for this in certain commercial aspects.
But here's the kicker.
What?
No. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to say that we had a couple of people comment about it being potentially solar paneled, or could that be implemented? I don't think it is, though.
I can power it with a solar panel, but then I still need an input source. So you don't really need the solar panel because, as I say, the maximum power draw on this thing is about 7 watts.
Yeah.
So it doesn't care. It's literally doing what you need. If you're not doing color correction on it, and you can with the OSD, again, another big thing that he improved. It was a button that you used and you bounced around like the old traditional display one. This one has a little dial on it, so you can up does volume, down does brightness, push it in, and you get all of this, all of the various OSDs controls that you would like. The problem is that this is a brand new technology, or at least not a technology that's been leveraged by a lot of people. It's a bit of a niche market, and so it's 1,500 Canadian. It's currently on sale for 1,400 Canadian. He's not listing a US price. I can't imagine why a product shipped from China would not be given a price in the US, but there must be some reason. It's expensive.
Yeah.
Too expensive.
It is.
For any kind of a mainstream adoption.
That's a 24-inch display for what? For 15?
A 24-inch display with some pretty horrendous color accuracy. However,
issues. Yeah.
Once you get it in its element, it's basically the only option.
There is no competition.
Right.
Usable. Whereas other displays are blown away.
So, I mean, I wish Louis luck on this. I don't know how big the market is ever going to be, but he got enough on the Indiegogo to be able to not only produce that, but to commercialize it, because this is definitely a commercial model. It feels much better. It's designed so much better. And, I want to love it, but at that price point, it's just, geez, you're going to have to need it. You're going to have to, your income is going to need to depend on this, or you are a guy who owns a yacht and drives around the ocean and absolutely despises it and just wants to game. Because it does have 60 frames a second, 10 millisecond greater gray. Not great, but
you're playing movies.
Got any power.
You're playing movies for the people on the aft
you saying I could
deck.
play Fortnite out on the pontoon boat?
Yeah, you could.
The an area this would be great in, digital plants for construction.
Yep.
They're out in the sunlight all the time. 24-inch.
What about
pads.
e-ink?
The response rate is nowhere near that.
Touch. Let's get some touch on that, so you can scroll, move around on it. Use it as
the original one
single
did.
pane of glass.
The original one did. This one didn't. The only time I missed it was thinking that the design is not bad sitting on a lap. So like if you're doing something here and you look down, okay, yeah, I got it. Touchscreen would be kind of nice for that, but then again, I program and fix computers and use Excel and stuff, and so touchscreen has never been a thing for me. There are usage cases for it. I'm sure that some of your field guys, Josh, would love this sort of thing up in the helicopter. But yeah, she's got a steep adoption price.
Yeah.
But if you act now, it's on sale. It's only $1,396
Oh, okay.
Canadian. So not even $1,000 American.
2 words,
Plus,
Jeremy. Military contract. It will save the company.
That would definitely do it. The other thing that will save it, it comes with a peel on it. You get to do a full 24-inch gorgeous peel on it. I wanted to mention that because
the OLED monitors do that too.
Yep. And you enjoy it too, don't you?
I don't understand the appeal.
Really?
Pun intended.
Oh, I see what you did there.
I did. Yeah. Can we move? Thank you, Jeremy, for that review. More.
You're
at
very
PCPer.com. And look at his videos and not in their weird crop state because of my monitor.
At his videos.
Exactly. You just can't see what we see when you're listening to the podcast.
That's
You have to
insightful.
visit the website. PCPer.com. It's 5 letters. PCPer.com. Which is 3 more letters and a period. Let's move to picks of the week. Josh, please get us started.
All right. You know what? This is a very inexpensive mechanical keyboard with some really nice features. It is from MSI. It's got cherry red keys, so nice and clicky. You can have it in 2 ways. It's actually got this interesting kind of plastic cover that you can cover up all of those, kind of parts to not have that industrial where everything's kind of exposed. So you can see what comes down there. That's magnetic, but you can take that off and you'll still get some LED effects, some RGB. And it's super inexpensive. It's got an aluminum plate. It's got a volume knob, cherry red, and it's only $34.99.
It's like stealing it.
At this price, you can't afford not to buy it.
Exactly. I may actually get one.
Sebastian, we all know that, as you said, MSI is wearing the EVGA mantle, so this just should make it just a no-brainer.
Maybe this was an EVGA keyboard at one point in its life. Who knows? That's not true.
Maybe.
It's not true, but the speculation is
it could be true. They could be getting it from the same place because EVGA did not manufacture keyboards. They sold keyboards.
Yep. P.S. This podcast is filled with rampant in-truths occasionally.
Hey, you don't have
allegedly.
To. It's a podcast. Podcasts are all full of shit
and rampant speculation.
No, they're all facts. Everything we say is true. Let's see. That's not a headline. Jeremy,
He's picking it.
That is what I linked.
He's picking it. It is.
Jeremy,
he's in it.
Pick of the week.
We didn't talk about it.
He's in it to win it.
The Geekom A6. This thing is the NUC that NUCs wanted to be. It's a Ryzen 7 6800H with normal 68M or 680M GPU.
Is that still
the bloody thing? Oh yeah, it is. The bloody thing will play Battlefield 5 at 60 hertz at 1440p full. That's
okay. I'm going to
for
stop right
something
there. Who plays Battlefield 5?
Exactly.
I don't know. I heard it's a game. I tried it once and didn't like it much.
Oh, I mean, it's a bench test that you can sort of gauge your other games that you're actually playing against. I think that's
right. When you run 3D Mark, for some reason, it shows you Battlefield 5 as your comparison score.
I think there might have been some money that changed hands there. But okay, so a different way. 3D Mark Time Spy, 2,664. It's not a huge gaming machine, but it's half the size of a bloody paperback novel.
Well, yeah, it's a
and
Nook.
Down in the States, it's not even $450. That's 32 gigs of RAM, full terabyte of storage, 2.5 gigabit Ethernet. It's a stupidly cheap deal for someone that likes to game, that doesn't have a really, really high-end monitor, 1080 or 1440p. Honestly, this is the next time my dad breaks his machine, this is what I think I'm getting him. It's just north of 600 up here. But no, this is what the Nook was promised. It was supposed to save us, but 2 USB 4s.
You were supposed to balance the force.
You were the chosen one.
They had me at 2.5 gigabit Ethernet, but
there's nothing not to like about this, and the price is just obnoxiously beautiful. Wi-Fi 6E,
that price is
Bluetooth
pretty good.
5.2.
Yeah.
Well, it is $50 off right now, I think, right?
Jeremy, one small problem here.
Okay.
From the chat, where's the RGB? Because last time I heard, you were all in on multicolored lighting.
Well, when you go to Lepro, you can then buy the RGB sleeve for this, and it will glow to your heart's content.
Oh,
okay. I just wanted it. I just wanted it on a mat that was sized right. I just wanted it like a mouse pad that has like a edging on it. That's what I want.
Edging.
Yeah, you could do that, or literally, you could just glue. You could bedazzle it if you
bedazzling.
Feel better.
Bedazzling would be fine. That would make me feel better. Yeah.
This looks an awful lot like a PC, a mini PC that I reviewed.
Oh, it looks like a Mac Mini. Stop it. It looks.
No. It's a completely unique design. Which let's see. Go to your channel. Where's the channel? Your channel under computer hardware. I did a video review which did not perform very well at all. Playlists under the hardware reviews playlist. Come on, it's the B-Link SER8 that I did.
Oh, okay.
That one is 8845HS and looks basically identical. They all look,
which looks nothing like a Mac Mini.
Not at all.
Okay, it looks exactly like a Mac
12K
Mini.
reviews. Come on, man. It's not bad.
It's not doing
great.
as well as my microcode update results video.
Oh, wow.
Everybody liked that.
It did. It's still getting a lot of traction. So this one, how much is it? I think this one was 650 also, or 629.
Well,
did they even mention that anywhere? Let's see what this.
Are you using this B-Link currently on the signage outside of your house? Using
my digital signs. So it's 589.
Is the B-Link in the room with you right now?
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. It's right here.
Is it within reach, Josh?
Finally, we've got him having stuff within arm's reach.
This is the power supply for it, and the unit itself is under some unreviewed SSDs that Samsung's probably mad at me about, and this is it right here.
Nice,
and it has pretty hefty cooling vents in the back.
Yeah, it's significantly larger than
kind
this
of
one.
loud. That was my only annoyance with this, is that when I did try gaming on it, I just was playing Age of Empires, what is it, Definitive Edition, and it was just screaming. The fan.
Sad.
So it's okay. It's quiet most of the time. Just don't try to game on it if you like silence.
When I have it unplugged, it's quiet most of the time.
It's quiet when you're just doing email and productivity and even watching YouTube, but you start trying to game on that 780M, it gets noisy.
Size.
Who's next?
I don't know.
Brett. And it's not a split one. It's just one
Just one.
thing. This is odd.
Just one.
For you.
I know, it's
Okay.
weird. Weird for me.
Yeah, go
So,
for it.
why not follow the Lee & Lee 011 Dynamic pack? Not that I don't have an 011 Dynamic. I think Mini. I think I have an 011 Dynamic Mini. Built a system in it. It's wonderful. Really, I'm joining the height bandwagon. So I just went and got myself a height Y60. But you know what? At the height website, if you make up an email address using whatever your preferred method is, making up an email address, you can get 10% off directly from the height website if you sign up for their mailing list, which is not bad. And then you can throw in the one that I got here, which is the all white Y60. I'll be combining that with the white Sapphire 9070 Pure GPU that was recently donated to PC Perspective. I'm going to do a build with it, and then I'm going to undertake the putting on the XT BIOS on it to see how that performs. Make sure that works. Try to test flight that for other Sapphire Pure owners. Make sure that is functional. But I also have to go with that white height Y60 case. I've got something pretty thick under the desk here. It's hard to lift. Oh, here we go. Yeah, it's thick. Yeah,
It says thick.
It's really
Is that
thick.
a power supply?
No.
Oh, it's
height.
the AIO.
It's the AIO.
Yeah.
So I got the. Oops, sorry. It's so.
It's your
difficult to-
aquarium pump.
Yeah, it's the aquarium pump.
Wait, it
AIO.
cools your
So I-
phone?
Yeah, it cools your phone. It's really thick. It's really thick. It's hard to hold. It's just got a lot of. It's got a lot of heft, a lot of girth. Let me just put that down. Back below the desk. Okay.
Thunk.
Anyway,
Brett trying to
that's
get
going to
into
be in the
the
case.
innuendo.
Yeah, I know I can't.
It feels a little
it's awkward.
forced.
It's awkward. But anyway, that's going to be a build. I'm going to put it together, take some pictures, probably put together a review of the components, and see how it goes.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Gonna do
Kudos
some
to you,
candid
Brett, for-
photography?
I'm going to
Hint,
pick
hint,
up.
nudge, nudge.
I don't
Wink,
hear what
say
you just
no
said.
more.
I did not hear what you just said, which is probably good. I'm going to go get a 9800X 3D from Micro Center soon enough.
Ooh, Mike.
Ah,
Pretty
there's
impressive
Center.
dragging something
Took
that
me
big
long enough.
around, Brett.
You're welcome.
You going to live stream the build?
I'm going to live stream my trip to Micro Center. Are you kidding?
Heck yeah. Sweet. I thought about doing a little video blog, taking my son to Micro Center for the first time, but it would just be him being unimpressed and not wanting to be on camera.
I can't even lift this thickness. It's just so thick. It's huge. Put it down.
Thank you, Brett, for all of that.
I looked it up. It
I have a
weighs
pick, but
2.5
Kent's
pounds.
doesn't, so I'm guessing this is in the wrong spot. Kent is the one under my name. Is that your pick?
Possibly. What does it
Okay.
say?
I'm not going to spoil it.
Okay.
All right, let's just go with it. Your pick of the week, Kent.
My pick of the week is, how about this? A graphics card. A current model graphics card.
And one of the fastest in the world. Just ask Josh.
No.
Oh.
But it is a good value card. And while it is slightly over MSRP, it's not bad.
And that's what you want.
$299, $299.99 for an ARC B580, 12 gigabytes, mind
Of
you,
course. Yes.
Which is enough.
which is enough
for it to still be one of the slowest options in this price tier.
But it's in stock.
Hey,
Plus, you can do the AI playground, which I played around with the B580 that I tested, and that's a lot of fun. And it does all the work locally on that GPU, so you don't have to, go and do tokens from outside. It just does it on your B580, and it had reasonable results. Not great, reasonable, and does both, pictures and writing and whatnot. They have different plugins you can do, so it's kind of cool.
But it's in stock and it's faster than anything that's that price or lower that's in stock right now on Newegg.
Except the
And
9060
this has been your
XT
mandatory
8
art
gig.
coverage.
That's the
8
thing, like
gigs.
Josh said.
8
You have to
gigs.
go 8 gig for 9060.
Yeah.
That's still a faster GPU, but
It's
it's
a
just one of those things where,
smalls.
and yeah. It made me sad to look at Josh's review and see the B580 doing really poorly. The only thing slower on his charts was the 3060, and that card is getting very old.
Ouch.
That's 4+ years. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, at 30 frames per second.
Yeah,
So
but
no matter.
look at it. Yeah, the 9060 is only 7 frames per second faster. At least in that one.
It's all relative. That's a tough test.
It
7
is.
frames per second is a big deal and still no mad.
Yeah, 73 to 102. Yeah. It's a jump.
Yeah. It's okay. Sorry to denigrate your pick, if that's the word I want, Kent.
I think denigrate is a triple point word this evening. Yeah.
You know, you're making Tap cry, Sebastian.
Someone had to.
In fact, that was
Yeah.
the correct word. Every once in a while, I use the right word, and that is to criticize unfairly, to disparage.
Yeah, very nice.
I
Yep.
denigrated the B580, and I'm sorry. And I'm sorry to
And therefore,
Intel.
we're going
Sorry
to ostracize
former
you.
Intel ARC spokespeople Alan and Ryan. I'm sorry. It was
I
disappointing.
just want to see Josh turn him into an ostrich. You can ostracize him.
Yes.
That's that's not what that means.
A 9070 is faster than a 7900 XT consistently. And in some cases, it's almost up to 7900 XTX. Oh, look at that. White Sapphire 9070 build.
Oh yeah.
That is correct.
Mm.
This is the 9070 that will be going into that that height all white case, very white. I gotta get some white cables for a Be Quiet power supply.
You do. You need to get some sleeved white cables.
Sleeved. Yeah,
No.
for a Be Quiet supply actually.
Yeah,
That's the one I want to
it
use.
Probably exists.
I'm gonna have to go to probably Cable Mod or something. Go pick those up.
Something.
Well, you can't get them at your favorite store?
Micro Center.
They would probably have them for like
Listen,
Corsair.
Here's what you do.
Popular
You
supplies,
have plenty of
but maybe
space in
not
that
Be
dual
Quiet.
chamber style case.
Yep,
All you need are cable extensions. No one's going to know.
I could.
Because if you go
Who would
cable
know?
mod, you got to pay $100
know?
for a set of custom cables. Just get
You're
cable
right.
extensions.
I
That's what
just felt
everybody
like that
does.
was the right way to
You tuck the stock ones back there where nobody can see them. All
Okay,
they
you're
see are
right.
the white sleeved cables.
All right, you're right. You're right.
Go to
frankly,
Micro
you're right.
Center. Everybody
There's
does it.
The dual chamber is there to hide your sins.
Look, you're not. I don't know if Kelt is still here. You're not Falcon Northwest. You're not buying a complete set of cable mod cables that replaces the factory cables in your PSU. You're using cable extensions.
Nobody
You know,
needs to know.
I've plugged this guy before, but insourced cables.
Are they
I get
extensions or
so many
replacements?
cables from him. I get all of my sleeve cables from him
Are they?
when I decide that I don't want to do the soldering myself.
Or you don't want to do cable mod or soldering.
Yeah. And
That was
he
really
I've bought
is-
cable. I've bought cable mod before. Nice.
I have
Very
too.
nice. Very nice cables.
Yeah.
Are those replacement cables or are those extensions, Kent?
You can get both from him.
Okay.
Razor 2048 throwing out the voltage drop on
Yeah,
cable
but I mean, you
extensions.
probably have more voltage than you need. Not really. I mean, that's not really how it works. You don't really want voltage drop, but I've never had an issue running cable extensions. I think my pick is just going to be ending the podcast. So thank everybody for
A gift to us all.
listening.
Is it that?
No, I do have one of those though.
that was
100
that was
megahertz?
just your pick from 2 weeks ago. Same pick.
Who?
You.
I didn't have a
Ending the
686
show.
2 weeks ago. Oh,
No,
well,
no,
ending
that's
the show.
that's almost always my pick.
Yes, it is.
I think
hold
I
on.
may
I'm
need
gonna
to.
go pick something for real. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. We'll be standing by.
He's going to go pick us now.
Okay. What are we going to talk about?
He's going to pick his wife.
I think I may need to repick that book on hoarding again Judging by the things you guys just pull out of nowhere.
It's just everything
limited
is just
amount.
off screen
Nowhere.
constantly. It's just like it's all sitting right here.
Arm's reach.
Yep. Where's your microphone now, Kent? Where is it? Point at it. Where is it? It's right there. It's
You know,
right
it's
there.
funny. In the shelf above, I've got the Celeron processor and the BP6.
You know, deep cut. Josh did actually show the shelf once.
Once.
Well, I
Just once.
suppose we could do
And that was it.
Rory.
We can't do it again.
Some good stuff up there.
Can't end out this podcast until we shout out Tindo. Oh my god.
What?
Oh, Tindo. Oh, Tindo, the UK guy who was originally from where? Uganda? I can't remember exactly. Yeah. He's a unique individual. Very entertaining. Moving
So
along.
the thing I grabbed, we were talking earlier about 8-bit and that one motherboard that was dual Celeron
The B6.
compatible. And only certain elite people could have a dual Pentium 3 system. But what if you found a manufacturer that was a little bit... I honestly am not familiar with this name. Josh, maybe you can help me out. I will.
What will you do?
I will
No,
motherboard.
Oh, yeah.
The
If you
logo
won't,
looks
I will.
familiar.
It's a Japanese...
I bet you that came with a
site.
demo disc in it, too, didn't it?
That's probably 440BX based, right?
let's find out together.
Well, it's P3, so...
Well, yeah, there you go. 440BX AGP chipset, 100 megahertz bus.
Bye-bye jumper for CPU frequency selection.
So up to 600
You don't have to do the math anymore.
megahertz Pentium 3s. I wonder if you can go up to 1 gigahertz with this. Probably not.
So
This
when
is
you
the
were building out your
100
server,
motherboard
much would that have
from
cost?
I will.
what would that have cost when you're making your server back then?
You can join iWill's fan club at
And do
iwill.net.
stretches with them. Wait, wait, what's that middle? What's the middle character? I don't understand what they're doing. Are they bending forward or
They're
backwards?
being a lower body. I don't know what happened there.
Weird.
Okay. Yeah. When'd you get this?
I don't remember. Some late night eBay purchase from several years ago, I'm sure. There's the board.
And it's slot 1.
Yeah,
Has it
dual
ever
slot
been
one.
touched? Ever been touched by human hands?
No idea. The box. No, it doesn't look like it ever was. Here's the extra stuff.
Yeah, there's a demo disc in there, along with the driver disc.
Look at the graphics. This is great. There's
Oh my gosh!
Power
Power drivers.
installer, the I will power installer,
PC Cylinder.
I do remember I will now.
LAN disk client manager, LAN
PC health
God.
monitoring.
or LAN disk.
Plastic bit. Ah, well, there goes
Oh
the cables.
no! There goes your.
There goes
PC.
your master
Not
and
meant
slave.
anymore.
Yeah. That makes
Who knows
sense.
if it even works anymore?
Probably not.
Let's
It's a treasury
yeah.
of poorly understood technology.
let's end the show.
I still got
Thanks for
some ribbon
watching,
cables just in case.
listening, and we're going to do it all again next week in all likelihood. And that's a threat and not a promise.
It is. It is.
Good night.